elite of the Templars are ready, Herald. Be certain you are prepared for the assault on the breach. We cannot know how you will be affected.
See how much we can get done today before I have to head out for my appointment. Of course. No, I'm not, Warcraft Code. In fact, I'm 3 minutes late. Ask me again after the appointment, Venka.
Focus past the Herald. Let his will draw from you.
Well, we did it. We're done. Let's go home.
You did it.
All right, so I was worried this would take us too long. All right, moving on to the next game. What's our next game? Do you know you can type !next into chat to find out what game we're playing next? I mean, I'm one of those people who thinks a 10-hour RPG is perfectly acceptable. And we're over 10 hours at this point. We're more like 17 hours.
The heavens are scarred but calm. The breach is sealed. We've reports of lingering rifts, and many questions remain. But this was a victory. Word of your heroism has spread.
You know how many were involved. Luck put me at the center.
A strange kind of luck. I'm not sure if we need more or less. But you're right. This was a victory of Alliance. One of the few in recent memory. With the breach closed, that alliance will need new focus.
Forces approaching! To arms!
See, obviously this is actually the end of Act 1.
What the... We must get to the gates!
So, celebratory drinks are on hold.
We have to put up barricades or something.
What threat could the ground hold? You've...
Cullen?
One watchguard reporting. It's a massive force, the bulk over the mountain.
Under what banner?
None.
None?
I do like that. No banner, because why would he have one?
If someone could open this, I'd appreciate it.
Hello, Dorian. About friggin' time.
I'm here to warn you. Fashionably late, I'm afraid. might exhausted. Don't mind me. My name is Dorian Parvis, and I bring grave news from Redcliffe. An army of rebel mages right behind me. They are under the command of the Venatori, in service to something called the Elder One. The woman is Calpurnia. She commands the Venatori. That, the Elder One.
Dun dun dun! It was Corypheus all along! Okay, real talk. How many of you saw this and were like, who's this guy?
They were already marching on Haven. I risked my life to get here first.
Cullen, give me a plan. Anything.
Haven is no fortress. If we are to withstand this monster, we must control the battle. Get out there and hit that force. Use everything you can. Soldiers, gather the villagers! Fortify and watch for advanced forces! Inquisition! With the Herald! For your lives! For all of us!
Yeah, you'll notice they actually do that kind of smartly. They don't actually name drop him there. They just show him, finally. They'd shown images of him earlier, and if you're paying attention, you can detect him. But here they show him, no really, and it's like, oh crap, it's Corypheus. So a lot of players were like, ah, okay. And then some other players were like, who's this guy? Because he's only in a DLC for Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age 2 DLCs didn't sell super well. Hello, Evo. Hello, Darkrai. So yes, we're fighting mages instead of Templars.
Keep them off us!
Because, you know, that's how that works. We failed to save the one group. Jesus, that was weird. Yeah, I noticed there's a whole lot of melee fighters amongst these mage forces here. I wouldn't say that my nieces disturb me, but no, none of my family or friends, for that matter, watch my streams. Except Pax will occasionally poke his head in when he's bored. Hey, mage.
Send it in the clear! Fire it! They felt that. We'll reload. You get to the other trebuchet. It isn't firing.
Yeah, no, the kiddos are pretty much always welcome. Although, I might have to be a little more stringent when we're streaming GTA 5, because it's GTA 5. Those are the exceptions, not the rules.
This way. We must get this trebuchet firing.
Yeah, at least Cullen had enough of a brain to have defenses of some kind ready to go. I will actually give him credit for that. I know exactly what you mean, Von Falkenstein, but I'm making the point clear that they're not a bother. Because disturbing can have connotations. Nah, you're good. I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
Keep them off the
That's more for anybody like watching the VOD or whatever. Or imagine if I just said, yeah, when my kiddos disturb me, and if I just say it that way, right? I don't want to reinforce the incorrect perspective there. Well, yeah, obviously it's noon somewhere, Blade Chaval. That's what the computer was thinking, clearly. And I was just thinking something. Buffs and debuffs exist in this game, right? If nothing else, my big missile spell
We've got time.
has a debuff.
Through the trebuchet. Start firing.
But I could be completely wrong. Near as I can tell, nothing indicates any of those buffs or debuffs exist, unless I happen to be in tactical mode, which I suppose I should test that. That's not physics, trebuchet animation there. Nice shot. Risky as hell, but, you know. But only on us, von Falkenstein? They have a cave dragon.
It's not possible. Everyone to the gates.
Herald! Help me with this door.
Oh. Ow. You're not bull. You're bull. There we go.
Just grabbing essentials. Won't die for the forge.
Just say, game, what do you want me to do here? That was not clear.
Move it! Move it! We need everyone back to the Chantry. It's the only building that might hold against that beast. At this point, just make them work for it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a losing battle.
The villagers will slow you down.
Yep. Time to abandon the villagers. Okay, so hypothetically, he should have a debuff right now. Which he does, I think. I think Chilled is the debuff. Solus and Vivienne. I'm not even sure. Hang on, let's double check that. Hang on. Energy and bombardment. Okay. Well, whatever. So that's not the debuff then. So the debuff that should be there isn't there at all. Completely non-visible. I'm not even sure if it exists. And in a game like this, that's a real problem. Because I've played games where it's like, this thing will apply this debuff, and it doesn't, so you're actually demonstrably doing things worse. Final Fantasy 1. Anyways, stop being attacked. There we go. Let me get this assassin off my face, please.
Protect the Chantry.
Thank you. Hello, RRC. We met Dorian for about 10 seconds, yes.
This way! Someone needs help!
Where? Where? Show me, man!
hear Survivor!
So open the door. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Get out! Get out!
About time. Let me out of here.
I mean, I didn't, but thank you for telling me, Zoctave.
You hear that? Survivors!
Back, you bastards!
I can think of several that have that problem, Jesse's Mask. There's also some games where the stats aren't programmed correctly. I'm explaining that badly. They weren't balanced correctly. So even though they're working, they actually aren't useful. Like, they're functionally not useful because of the fact that they don't do as much as they're supposed to. The Mario and Luigi games are a good example of that. In the Mario and Luigi games, there's something called a mustache stat, which you'd think would be super useful, and its super is not. But that's only because it's balanced incorrectly. And yes, the evade stat and consequently the blind stat did nothing in the original SNES version of Final Fantasy VI. And there's other examples of this too. It's more common than it probably should be. Where's my team? Yeah, the goggles quite literally do nothing.
Keep going! The chantry is your shelter!
A brave man. He stood against a Venatori.
Briefly, I am no Templar.
Herald, our position is not good. That dragon stole back any time you might have earned us. There has been no communication, no demands. Only advance after advance.
There was no bargaining with the mages either. This Elder One takes what it wants. From what I gathered in Redcliffe, it marched all of this way to take your herald.
If you have any idea why he's after me, I'm all ears.
Besides taking the Templars, I've no idea what would incur this much wrath. And such a promising start with the landslide. If only trebuchets remained an option.
They are, if we turn the last of them to the mountains above us.
We're overrun. To hit the enemy, we'd bury Haven.
This is not survivable now. The only choice left is how spitefully we end this.
Well, that's not acceptable. I didn't race here only to have you drop rocks on my head.
Should we submit? Let him kill us?
Dying is typically a last resort, not first. For a Templar, you think like a blood mage.
There is a path. You wouldn't know it was there unless you'd made the summer pilgrimage, as I have. The people can escape. She must have shown me. Andraste must have shown me so I could tell you.
What about it, Cullen? Will it work?
Possibly, if he shows us the path. But what of your escape?
Escape is not his plan.
Perhaps you can surprise the Elder One.
Inquisition! Follow Chancellor Roderick through the Chantry. Move!
Herald, if you are meant for this, if the Inquisition is meant for this, I pray for you.
Now, not that I'm necessarily encouraging this, but this would have been the perfect time for our first character to die,
They'll load the
and for us to start
trebuchets.
playing our
Keep
second
the Elder
character.
One's attention until we're above the tree line.
You remember I mentioned that idea?
If we are to have a chance, if you are to have a chance, let that thing hear you.
I understand the strategy, but I usually avoid drawing this much attention.
Yeah, exactly. This is where Hawk would then die. Now, there's some other niggles that would have to be ironed out for that to work, because it doesn't fit as is. Like, if the Elder One just gets back the thing at this point, well, then that's game, right? So we'd have to, like, work around that. Oh yeah, this is where the Warden dies. I'm not sure yet, Darkrai, but it's at least something I would consider rather strongly. That's a good point, Jesse's Mask. So the Inquisitor actually has the mark, or it's just Josephine. The next rewrite, which I am currently working on, is RFF2. Followed immediately by RFF3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 10, 2, 8, 9, and 6, in that order. Or 8, 9, 12, and 6, excuse me. Oh, they'd never do something brave with Dragon Age. No offense. This is a big, large-scale release. Which means more attention's on it, which means they need to play it more safe so they can guarantee more sales. Generally speaking, you're not going to see big, interesting, dynamic, cool, unusual, controversial choices with big AAA titles like this. It's just not what happens. Baldur's Gate 3 is ironically not what I would call a big, large-scale yada yada yada. Even though it functionally is, it still, for all intents and purposes, is a double-A title. Probably never, Darkrai. Most likely never. It has to do with the level of financial support and the level of support in general that they have. Larian Studios is not exactly a small indie studio, but they're not AAA. They're just not on that same level of scale. The mere fact that they had sufficient financial issues in order to force an early release of their game is all I need to point to emphasize that. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Quite the contrary, I would actually say it's a very good thing. AA is a nice in-between of indie, where you can't do what you want, and AAA, where you can't do what you want. Hello, Alki, excuse me. Just flip that there in my brains, because I'm stupid.
Reinforcements.
I'm still debating, Evo. Yes, Unity continues to suck. What's funny is, of all the engines out there, the one I have never even for a minute considered actually using for my own purposes is Unity.
More coming our way.
Go figure, huh? I'm leaning towards Necromancer, Alki. It's either that or Knight Enchanter. Those are the only two options, really. Unreal, Godot. There's a couple of others, but those are the two big ones. Id Tech. That's actually possible, but no. I just don't care for Unity in general as an engine. And that's why it never even occurred to me to use it, even before they decided to try their latest bit of envelope pushing. Yeah, you notice how Fiona just shows up, no dialogue. Wouldn't even notice if not for the fact that her name was on the screen for a few seconds.
Now! Enough!
Pretender, you toy with forces beyond your ken, no more.
What are you? Why are you doing this?
Mortals beg for truth they cannot have. It is beyond what you are, what I was. Know me. Know what you have pretended to be. Exalt the Elder One. The will that is Corypheus. You will kneel.
Why are you here? You haven't even asked for anything.
I ask for nothing, because it is not in your power to give. But that will not stop me. I am here for the anchor. The process of removing it begins now. It is your fault, Herald. You interrupted a ritual years in the planning, and instead of dying, you stole its purpose. I do not know how you survived, but what marks you as touched, what you flail at rifts, I crafted to assault the very heavens. And you used the anchor to undo my work. The gore.
Still playing for time.
It is meant to bring certainty where there is none. For you, the certainty that I would always come for it. I once breached the Fade in the name of another to serve the old gods of the Empire in person. I found only chaos and corruption, dead whispers. For 1,000 years I was confused, no more. I have gathered the will to return under no name but my own, to champion withered Tevinter and correct this blighted world. Beg that I succeed, for I have seen the throne of the gods, and it was empty.
And I'll give you that one. That's a good line.
The anchor is permanent. You have spoilt it with your stumbling.
It's his only good line. Enjoy it.
So be it. I will begin again. Find another way to give this world the nation and God it requires. And you, I will not suffer even an unknowing rival. You must die.
Yeah.
Your arrogance blinds you. Good to know. If I'm dying, it's not today.
I mean, by all accounts, and I talked about this in Dragon Age 2, Corypheus has no real reason to lie. I fully believe him when he says that the throne is empty. And it implies a lot, especially given what we learn in the DLCs of this very game. Enjoy that. It's the last time Corypheus is a decent character. Credit where credit's due, though. He was decent there. Competent is different, but I don't think he's lying, is my point. Oh, exactly, Lolem Loss. Of course, given, again, what we learn later, we probably know whose throne that is, but, you know. Yeah. Hi, Warcraft Code. You missed a good scene. Congrats. Yes, Warcraft Code. Honestly, Ect, flip a coin. I've said this before, it is an extraordinarily common thing that companies, nations do this too actually, but companies will say they're doing something to test the waters, to see how people's reaction is to it. Now, that's not always true. When Reddit decided to do their recent changes, they were doing that for different reasons, so they didn't say that to test the waters, they said that because they were doing it. So it's possible Unity is just doing it. I do agree with the joke answer that someone was like, hey, I figured out why Unity's doing these changes, and there was like an image of someone doing a Google search of, what engine is Genshin Impact on? It's because I haven't, Darkrai. Good morning, Eternus. Ah. You made me drink and now I'm dying. Oh, ask me again after the appointment, Evo. Right now I'm on pause. I mean, Hearthstone is also in Unity, while we're on the subject. Another game that, at least in the past, made a decent chunk of change.
There.
There what? I did not, Jesse's Mask. I'm sorry. Ah. No, I'm distracted today. I apologize. Yeah, let's be clear. People use Unity for the same reason people drive cars. And you're probably thinking, oh, that makes perfect sense. Wait, no, that makes no sense at all. You know why people drive cars? That is to say, the primary reason. Thank you, Jesse's Mask, very, very much. I apologize for missing it. I will jot that down towards Pentiment, Citizen Sleeper, and Dragon's Dogma. The reason people drive cars is because there is a tremendous amount of infrastructure for cars. If you want to get a car, there are tons of sources to get a car. There's tons of sources to get a car used. There's tons of sources to get a loan for a car. It's actually called a vehicle or a car loan. There's tons of ways to get maintenance done for it, and people that'll upkeep it, or places where you can buy parts for it, and places to get fuel for it, and all that stuff which just lumped under the general broad category of infrastructure. That's why people drive cars, is because everybody drives cars. It's kind of a momentum thing, right? So, the reason this is relevant, I do swear this is relevant to the immediate conversation, is that's why people make games in Unity. Unity is, frankly, not really a great engine, but there is a ton of infrastructure supporting it. People have done tutorials, and there is documentation, both from Unity themselves and other supporters, and you can figure out how to twist Unity into pretty much any direction you want to. So, if you want to make a game, it's really it's a kind of an obvious choice to jump into Unity, because you can do whatever the hell you want to with Unity. And you can find out whatever the hell you need to find out about it, right? Yeah, Unity is about as generalist as it comes when it comes to broadly available engines. And its terms of service previously were not terrible either. So I've gained the power of the Rift. I gain focus every time someone in my party deals damage. Each party member has a personal focus meter, but all party members gain focus when any party member does damage. You replaced my #1 ability? What? Hold up. Although now I have the Inquisitor thing. And a couple other things. But anyways. Come on, game. Please? Okay. I can't redo my bars right now. Because I'm in combat. Could you, like, just not? None, Eternus. I'm really, really bad at the vocabulary of programming, even if I am quite good at the logic, I think is the word, the design of programming. I have a tremendous amount of confidence in my ability to map out and do, like, a flow chart of program. But I couldn't actually write the code myself at all. I have actually, as recently as this year, I've had people come to me and help them diagnose what's wrong with their program, because I can think in programming logic. But actual code? No, I got nothing. Unless you count, God, I can't remember what it's called. It's something OBS uses. Because I've had to poke at that quite a bit. I hate to say this, but maybe in a blizzard like this, we should have just stayed in the cave, you know? And not, you know, gone out into near certain death. Have you ever been in a blizzard like this? Because I have. These are terrifyingly dangerous. Hello, Talmarid. Yeah, we also have magic. Not that the game acknowledges that, because, you know, just like in the Mass Effect games, we always have to have a sword. Whiteouts are fun. I've driven in a whiteout more than once.
Numbers. Recent.
So, I was talking about doing brave things, right? You know something I would like here? That they will not do. Spoilers. Imagine that this kind of fundamentally changes the gameplay a little bit. I know what you're going to say. It does, but no, that's not what I mean. I mean, we probably should have had an honest-to-goodness bridge section here. Maybe a dungeon, maybe an encounter, maybe just a zone we go through as we're trying to get back on our feet and reconnect with people, and we hear from rumors and distant information what's going on, you know, stuff like that. Instead, instead, there they are. They found us. Boom. We're done. You see my point? It's not a bad bridge sequence, but it should have been more. More gameplay, more story, and, frankly, longer. It's a good question, Eternus.
This isn't what we asked them to do.
Yeah, exactly, Jesse's mask.
If we ignore this, we must find a way.
And who put you in charge? We need a consensus or we have nothing.
Please, we must use reason. Without the infrastructure of the Inquisition, we're hobbled.
I can't come from nowhere.
She didn't say it could.
Enough! This is getting us nowhere.
Well, we're agreed on that much.
Shh. You need rest.
They've been at it for hours.
They have that luxury thanks to you. The enemy could not follow, and with time to doubt, we turn to blame. Infighting may threaten as much as this Corypheus.
Do we know where Corypheus and his forces are?
We are not sure where we are, which may be why, despite the numbers he still commands, there is no sign of him. That, or you are believed dead. Or without Haven, we are thought helpless. Or he girds for another attack. I cannot claim to know the mind of that creature, only his effect on us.
What I would do, the more I think about it, what I would do is I would have like a small town section. You go to the town, you're recovering, there's a family that takes you in. They don't recognize you. They don't know who you are. The town's not exactly doing great, but it's not doing badly either. They've been on the periphery of the Mage Templar conflict. There's a couple of little side quests, which you don't have to do because they're side quests. No, the family doesn't die. They're fine. This would not be the time for a tragedy moment. This is not the Wolverine film. So, you get to the family. They're like, hey, they nurse you back to health. You help them out a little bit as you're trying to get word about what's going on. Some of the side quests give you some additional info on what's going on, but for the most part, you're just there to try and reconnect. So you're trying to get a letter out, and the big problem with the letter is something's in the way. Maybe there's bandits, maybe there's rogue forces, something. While you're in town, you meet either Dorian or Cole, depending on which choice you picked. In other words, the one you didn't recruit. So instead of Dorian being the one who came to give us the extremely belated warning, or the Cole thing, which happens if you go the other way, instead, they're not there at all. You meet them in this town. They join up with you, try to help you what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out Cole's been looking specifically for you, and Dorian's been looking for you, but doesn't realize you're that person until Rift shows up. And a rift opens up nearby, and everyone freaks out because it's just a farming village, which barely has a militia. You and Dorian and or Cole rush up, you push down the rift, close the thing. That's when they realize exactly... Well, that's when Dorian realizes who you are. And that's when Cole decides that you're someone he wants to follow. And then the two of them help you to reconnect, and there's like a fade to black as you finally get the message out through the pass, which is now clear, and you reconnect with the thing. Boom, 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 boom. The whole thing would probably only be about 30 minutes, depending on how fast you go through it. And that would be the bridge sequence right there. The gap. You need that kind of a breather moment after something like what just happened. And I feel like that would be a good way to bring everything all the way back down here before we get up to what's actually about to happen, which would then happen next. It's like, okay, we need a new location. Now what?
They're arguing about what we do next. I need to be there.
Another heated voice won't help. Even yours. Perhaps especially yours. Our leaders struggle because of what we survivors witnessed. We saw our defender stand and fall. And now we have seen him return. The more the enemy is beyond us, the more miraculous your actions appear, and the more our trials seem ordained. That is hard to accept, no? What we have been called to endure, what we perhaps must come to believe.
I really hope I'm not going to get copy wrong for this, but I'm going to go ahead and allow it to play. We'll see. Just as a heads up. Oh, and as Bladejev also accurately points out, nothing I just said would even be possible with the extreme lack of resources, time, support, funding, and also time that they had for the development of this game. But as I've said so many times, if you don't have the time budget, then you need to cut features, like the entirety of the hinterlands. I'm sorry, but redirect your resources where they can be better utilized. That's management.
I escaped the avalanche. Barely, perhaps, but I didn't die.
Of course, and the dead cannot return from across the veil. But the people know what they saw. Or perhaps what they needed to see. The Maker works both in the moment and in how it is remembered. Can we truly know the heavens are not with us?
I mean...
You saw Corypheus. What do you think of his claims of assaulting the heavens?
Scripture says magisters, to winter servants of false-souled gods, entered the Fade to reach the Golden City, seat of the Maker. For their crime, they were cast out as darkspawn. Their hubris is why we suffer blight, and why the Maker turned from us. If such is the claim of this Corypheus, he is a monster beyond imagining. All mankind continues to suffer for that sin. If even a shred of it is true, all the more reason Andraste would choose someone to rise against him.
Oh, as an aside, I know this is going to sound like a strange statement. One of the questions several people asked during the Dragon Age Origins run specifically was, do I think the writers had decided who and what the Maker was? To which my answer was, probably not. Given how self-contained it wasn't really necessary to flesh out those kind of nitty-gritty details. By contrast to that, I'm pretty sure that by the time they were writing this very game right here, they absolutely did know what was going on with the Maker and the Fade and the Veil and all that fun stuff, especially given stuff we haven't covered yet. Now, we still don't know what that is here in real life, because we may not ever know, or we may know in about 10 years when the NDA finally dies.
Perhaps I was meant for this. But that didn't help at Haven. I want to believe Andraste is with me, but doubt is everywhere.
I'll just shut up for this sequence.
and hope has fled. Still your heart, the dawn will come. The night is long and the path is dark. Look to the sky, for one day soon the dawn will come.
The shepherd's lost, and his home is far. Keep to the stars, the dawn will come. The night is long,
And the path is dark. Look to the sky. One day soon, the dawn will come. Bear your blade and raise it high. Stand your ground, the dawn will come. The night is long and the path is dark. Look to the sky for one day
Faith is made stronger by facing doubt. Untested, it is nothing.
A word.
Yeah, I love how Solus didn't sing. And I'm actually sad that we lost the obstinate bureaucrat. He was a dick, but he didn't deserve to die. And he did get them out in the end.
A wise woman, worth heeding. Her kind understand the moments that unify a cause. Or fracture it. The orb Corypheus carried, the power he used against you, it is elven. Corypheus used the orb to open the breach. Unlocking it must have caused the explosion that destroyed the Conclave. I do not yet know how Corypheus survived, nor am I certain how people will react when they learn of the orb's origin.
All right. What is it and how do you know about it?
They were foci, used to channel ancient magics. I have seen such things in the Fade, old memories of older magic. Corypheus may think it Tevinter. His empire's magic was built on the bones of my people. Knowing or not, he risks our alliance. I cannot allow it.
This whole mess is confusing. I can see how elves might be an easy target.
History would agree. But there are steps we can take to prevent such a distraction. By attacking the Inquisition, Corypheus has changed it. Changed you. Scout to the north. Be their guide.
A Griever would just look at Corypheus like, really? Really?
There is a place that waits for a force to hold it. There is a place where the Inquisition can build, grow.
Don't worry about it, Lilumlas. It's from the extant. So 18 hours in, the game now starts. I'm not making that up. God, I need to change my outfit. Ah! I didn't even finish the hinterlands Jesse's
from every
mask.
settlement in the region. Skyhold is becoming a pilgrimage.
I only did all the low-level stuff.
If word has reached these people, it will have reached the Elder One. We have the walls and numbers to put up a fight here, but this threat is far beyond the war we anticipated. But we now know what allowed you to stand against Corypheus, what drew him to you.
Oops.
He came for this, and now it's useless to him, so he wants me dead. That's it.
The Anchor has power, but it's not why you're still standing here. Your decisions let us heal the sky. Your determination brought us out of Haven. You are the creature's rival because of what you did. And we know it. All of us. The Inquisition requires a leader. The one who has already been leading it. You.
Are you insane? They expect a savior, someone with divine power.
They want you.
Because they think I'm chosen.
They believe you are chosen because of what you have done, what you have inspired in all of us. Without you, there would be no Inquisition. Where you lead us, what kind of leader you are, that is up to you.
Well, I've also been replaced with an envy demon, so... Well, thank God we've got a sword.
With fear running rampant, they need to see a mage standing for what is right. I'll defeat Corypheus standing with them, not over them.
Wherever you lead us. Have our people been told?
They have. And soon, the world.
Commander, will they follow?
Inquisition, will you follow? Will you fight? Will we triumph? Your leader, your herald, your Inquisitor!
Cullen accidentally guts someone as he gestures.
So this is where it begins.
It began in the courtyard. This is where we turned that promise into action.
But what do? We know nothing about this Corypheus except that he wanted your mark.
Could his dragon really be an archdemon? What would that mean?
It would mean the beginning of another blight.
We've seen no darkspawn other than Corypheus himself. Perhaps it's not an archdemon at all, but something different?
Whatever it is, it's dangerous. Commanding such a creature gives Corypheus an advantage we can't ignore.
Corypheus wants to restore Tevinter. Is this a prelude to war with the Imperium?
I get the feeling we're dealing with extremists, not the vanguard of a true invasion.
Tevinter is not the Imperium of 1,000 years ago. What Corypheus yearns to restore no longer exists. Though they would shed no tears if the South fell to chaos, I'm certain.
Corypheus said he wanted to enter the Black City. But this would make him a god.
He is willing to tear this world apart to reach the next. It won't matter if he's wrong.
What if he's not wrong? If he finds some other way into the Fade?
Then he gains the power he seeks, or unleashes catastrophe on us all.
Someone out there must know something about Corypheus.
Unless they saw him on the field, most will not believe he even exists.
We do have one advantage. We know what Corypheus intends to do next. When you were at Therenfall, you uncovered a plot to kill Empress Selene.
Imagine the chaos her death would cause. With his army.
An army he's growing. The Envy Demon gloated about a massive force of demons.
Corypheus could conquer the entire south of Thedas, god or no god.
I'd feel better if we knew more about what we were dealing with.
I know someone who can help with that. Everyone acting all inspirational jogged my memory, so I sent a message to an old friend. She's crossed paths with Corypheus before and may know more about what he's doing. She can help.
I don't have time for a meet and greet, Varric.
You'll get a lot out of this, and it's probably overdue. Just come up to the battlements. Trust me, it's complicated.
Well, I would, but I gotta get out of these freaking clothes.
We stand ready to move on both of these concerns.
On your order, Inquisitor.
I know one thing. If Varric has brought who I think he has, Cassandra is going to kill him.
This is the Inquisition. A dusty old ruin filled
God, please let me change my outfit. Where do I change my outfit? Where do I do it? How do I get out of this chicken crap outfit? Ah, where's my room? Oh, wait, hey, maybe I can fast travel up to my room. Where's my room? Which of these is my room? Of course, I should have known you meant right of the room.
Now, what did they make down here? What can I make?
Yeah, the door wasn't unlocked.
Can't go wrong.
Where's... I guess she's not here yet. Oh. Well, I don't care about any of this then, because I can't, you know, stop being in this terrible, terrible outfit. It's time to cheat in new outfits just so I can change my outfit. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Oh, God, please. Okay.
What was this place? So much room for whatever was here.
Inquisitor.
I need to know more about Corypheus.
We spoke of this on our travels to Skyhall. What more can I tell you? Cassandra and Varric seem more familiar with their adversary.
Oh, I'll take advice from just about anyone right now.
That's a disapprove?
I claim no secret wisdom, but I will guess as best I can.
Oh, whatever. Oh, God. All right, hang on. Let me break out the Mega Man. I just realized this is probably another 20-minute dialogue sequence. Hang on. Okay.
I would like to know more about the orb he carries.
As I said, that must be the means by which he created the breach. I suspect the blast that destroyed the Conclave was more accident than anything. The result of unlocking power that had sought release for ages. What I cannot understand is how he managed to survive such an explosion.
Good question.
You said that you believe the orb is Elven.
I never would have believed a Devinter mage could unlock such a powerful relic. It clearly enhances his abilities, giving him access to power he should never have known.
Like the power to control the Archdemon.
Indirectly, one assumes. Nothing in any lore connects my people to the old god dragons who became archdemons.
I did not see your question, no, Warcraft Code. If your question was, why do you suck, lore? Well, the answer is I'm actually a vampire.
What do you think Corypheus will do next?
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory. It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so.
He must continue on his course or show weakness. He will return to his plans to throw Olay into chaos, and then conquer it for Devinter.
You're sure that's what he'll do?
As certain as is possible. Assuming I can plausibly predict a man who seeks to rise to godhood.
And can you?
The key is understanding this. No real god need prove himself.
True.
Anyone who tries is mad or lying. His deception will undo him, as it has done countless fools before.
You'd know.
What can you tell me about the source of Corypheus' power?
According to the law, the ancient Magistars of Devinter received guidance from the old gods. Corypheus commands a false archdemon, a corrupted old god. This suggests he no longer sees himself as their minion. Some of his unique power comes from the corruption of the Blight. The rest may come from the orb he carries.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. Hello.
I need to know more about Corypheus.
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory. It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so. He must continue. He will return to his plans to throw Olay into chaos, and then conquer it for Devinter.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
I don't think that Devinter would accept him just because there's too many politicking and scheming people there. Like, eventually he might be able to get them to bend the knee, but he'd always be dealing with nonsense the whole time. Probably, because there's a 500 character cap, Warcraft code, which might be why I didn't see it the last time. It literally didn't pop up.
Look at this place. It's a bloody palace, it is. Fit for a king, eh?
Maker, you're a mess. Let me have a look at you.
Look, I'm trying to change my outfit.
You heard? You look dreadful.
You should have seen me an hour ago.
We should do something about this dirt. We don't need you frightening the faithful. Let's keep up appearances. You've handled this crisis competently, saving as many lives as you did. But the enemy struck a serious blow against you and the Inquisition. We must recognize that. You must.
For every person I saved, 2 more were cut down. I failed them.
You haven't failed them, my dear. The men and women who fight for you gave their lives for a great cause, and they fought to the end. The rest still fight, and you will fail them if you give up now. Our enemy advances, Inquisitor. We must not sit idly by. Act first, and teach them to fear us. I think you know what needs to be done, my dear.
No, I would say this castle wasn't moved in lore or out. So, okay. There's 2 things you need to consider when it comes to castle design. This is true in real life, but also true when it comes to fiction. Because there's only 2 real things... Well, okay, hang on. There's like 17 things you need to keep in mind.
How was a place like this ever lost?
When it comes to designing a castle like this. But there's only 2 I'm going to bring up right now. First is storage. This is a fairly large place, can hold a decent amount of people, but more importantly has tons of storage room. This place is the kind of place that would have things like salted pork, or jerky, or something else. Probably involving a lot of salt and a lot of barrels filled with meat that are caked, sealed, shut with wax, that kind of a thing. This is the kind of place that can have days, weeks, or months of storage of stores, because that's how that works. Now, you're probably thinking, well, then where's all that food come from? That's the tricky part. See that bridge right there? I think that's it. I could be wrong, but either way, that's the part that actually matters, the pipeline. This place is, it's a Coruscant, right? It needs to have imports. It cannot function on its own. The only way you could hold a fortress like this is if you have that lifeline. If that lifeline gets severed for any reason at any point in the line, you are screwed. And that's kind of the end of that. So, unfortunately, I don't think the game ever really properly acknowledges this in a way that I would prefer. But it would be nice if, you know, maintaining the supply line was a major element of this, because it really should be. But that leads to the final thing, and this is actually kind of funny. They've said several times that this place doesn't really look like a typical fortress, and yet at the same time, the developers of the game clearly studied actual architecture and fortress design when building this place. I'm not going to go into specifics, but if you just look at it, this place is built like a fort. Not a castle, not a pilgrimage place, not a temple, a fort. This is the kind of place that you set up troops in, either temporarily or long-term, in order to project power over a certain region and serve as a supply point for armies moving through the area, which doesn't fit with anything based on what we know about our geography here. I'm not going to ding the game for any of this, because this is the same thing as the Normandy. It's an astonishingly convenient thing that just happens to perfectly fit the needs of the story and the player character.
Something like that.
But shrug. Back to Mega Man.
So, this is Skyhold. Come, let's walk the ramparts. I want to examine our fortifications. We'll be able to see Corypheus coming from miles away.
On the other hand, that means he can see us from miles away.
Let him come. I swear I'll take the Twister bastard down, even if I have to die to do it.
Watch that this enthusiasm of yours doesn't get you killed.
I wouldn't be the first to die in your service. The people flock to your banner, eager to fight for the Herald of Andraste. Their faith is a leash, and your Inquisition has taken hold of it.
Thanks.
Tell me honestly, are you what they say you are? Andraste's chosen?
There's so little I remember. What if they're right?
Does it even matter? Don't you see what you are to them? Without you, they'd be consumed by despair. We all would. They need you to be Andraste's messenger. It gives them hope. The truth doesn't matter. Listen to me talk. Your time is valuable, and I've wasted enough of it.
Yeah, I've actually seen 3 separate instances of Tor Effect today alone. I think we're officially codifying that first negative there. We'll see if it keeps going. And yeah, I could be wrong. I always got the impression that this was, well, you know, one of the ancient elven forts, which would make a little bit more sense given, well, like you say, given their tech level and their resource level. Building this kind of place... Just imagine dragging the carved stone up here, and the wood, and the expertise, and getting the just, oh my god, like, I can't even imagine building this goddamn place with their tech level. Building this place with our tech level would be a pain in the ass.
Of all the things in the world, a demon who wears someone's face, I imagine it makes trusting others risky.
Without trust, how would we build alliances or friendships?
It's easy to speak well of trust when yours has never been misplaced.
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
How do the Wardens deal with archdemons?
Short answer. Stick it with swords until it stops moving.
Yeah, but how about, like, the long answer?
Wardens are in all the stories. If it was that easy, anyone could do it.
No, it really is that simple. Just because the archdemon is magic doesn't mean it can't be killed with swords. It just has to be a Grey Warden sword.
Why?
Look, it's not the killing blow that's the problem. It's getting the dragon to the point where it's vulnerable, where it actually can be killed. There's no short answer for that, I'm afraid.
I only point this out because this is the official moment at which several people were wondering if they had decided to retcon that, because remember, they've retconned a lot in Dragon Age Inquisition, or if he's a goddamn liar.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need me. I'm here.
I want to hear more about you.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
Your name Blackwall doesn't sound Orlesian. Marcher, then? Ferelden?
I was from the Free Marchers originally. Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
Yeah.
I hear that many wardens were once criminals.
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
What did you do before you became a warden?
I was a soldier, a nobody trained to wield a sword and follow orders. I grew weary of fighting other men's wars.
So you became a warden?
More or less. Becoming a Grey Warden was the first time I felt like I mattered. The life I led before seems hollow in comparison. Perhaps one day it will fade away.
Why did you join the Wardens?
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Words that have little meaning to the rest of us. Because they lay down their lives for those they have sworn to protect. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one of them.
We can continue this discussion at another time.
Very well. Yes?
How much do you know about Corypheus?
Not much. I always thought the stories of Magisters corrupting the Golden City were just that. Stories. I didn't expect them to be true, and I certainly didn't expect to find one of them still alive.
Don't the Grey Wardens know everything about Darkspawn?
You don't have to know how a Darkspawn came to be in order to kill it. We're soldiers, not historians. And the world would be better off if people focused on defeating evil rather than explaining how it came to be.
God, you are just being so evasive here, Blackwall. Jesus Christ.
Corypheus stopped being human a long time ago. Darkspawn don't have human lifespans, do they?
No, I suppose they don't. They're unnatural and sustained by evil. It's been thousands of years. You'd think the Wardens would have managed to kill the first Darkspawn by now.
Right.
Do you know if there are more Darkspawn like Corypheus?
I don't know. I'm not sure any Warden knows.
Right.
Let's discuss something else. What do you think of the Inquisition?
I think the entire world is looking over its shoulder, wondering if the Inquisition's watching.
What do you think of my advisors?
Leliana seems nice. Also a little frightening, but mostly nice.
Nice doesn't make you spy master.
Yes, but why offend a lady? Let's just go with nice. I don't want to wake up with a blade in my kidneys if I can help it.
You must have some feelings about our friends.
Talked with Solus the other day. That man knows all there is to know about everything.
What do you think of the Inquisition's cause?
Restoring order is a goal I support wholeheartedly. But that's not the end of it, is it? Not by a half. The Lady Seeker believes we are restoring the Chantry. Others say it needs reform. I don't know where you stand on the matter, and I'll admit I haven't made up my mind either.
We should return to our duties.
As you wish. You are, after all, in charge.
Listen, Eternus, I'm nice. And if you say otherwise...
I always have time for you, my dear.
What are your thoughts about the others in the Inquisition?
Sarah is certainly a colorful character. Like a poisonous toad, only without the manners. My dear, did you need me for something?
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
You must have an opinion of the Templars after living so long in this circle.
Having opinions about Templars, my dear, is exactly like having opinions about mages or Navarrans or men. I have known some who were impossible to endure and some who were utterly charming. I have suffered insults at the hands of those in the armor, but no more than I endured from nobles or tradesmen in Val Royal. Personally, I have found the Templars a useful tool, skilled at keeping more unpleasant elements at bay.
So, Inquisitor. It's Inquisitor now, right? Remember that war we talked about stopping? Full of little baddies I can stick with little arrows. That's not a friggin' archdemon, is it? Droste, what did I step in?
Let me know what she says. I could use some clarification myself.
It's swearing, not praying. She doesn't answer. Not like she's supposed to. I know what happened to you. Or what everyone here thinks happened. It seems... I don't know what it seems.
The ancient thing trying to kill us seems pretty real.
Don't get me started. Oh, wait. Too late, right? A Magister who cracked the Black City. It's a hazy dream, right? I mean, if it's real, then the seat of the Maker? Real thing. A seat needs a butt, so the Maker? Real thing. Fairy stories about the start and end of the world? Real things. It's too far, innit? I just want to plug the Skyhole rubbish so I can go play.
As long as you're reliable when we go Magister hunting. Stay for whatever reason you like.
Like don't have nuts to do with it. Not when we're tracking monsters that shouldn't be. What I want is to get everything back to business as usual. A nice simple system with simple problems. Helps me, helps people, helps you. In that order. For now.
Oh my god, can we flirt with her? We can flirt with her!
You're starting to not sound completely crazy.
I know, scary, innit? So bring 'em on. But first, food. I'm starving.
First order of business. Food. That's true in inordinate quantity of circumstances in real life. There's no vetting. Vetting is verboten.
Sir Lordy Bloomers.
Get out of my party! Looks like we're actually done here.
I'll be back if I need you.
Go on.
Inquisitor, huh? Well, you've got the fortress for it. Speaking of which, when you've got a second, there's something I want to show you.
There was something you wanted to show me?
What did you want me to come see?
Here, come on. I'll show you.
Oh god, it's his dick!
Why am I dressed like this?
You'll see. Come on. It'll be worth your time, I promise. Evening. Iron Bull. My merc band just joined up.
Tanner. I'm from Jader. Well, near Jader.
Mira. I was guard captain for Lady Pendel. Signed on after shit blew up at the Conclave. Share a drink? Who's your friend?
This is Grim. He doesn't talk much. So, you ready to kill some demons? Or Venatori? Or whatever that Corypheus asshole is?
This isn't just about killing. We're helping the Inquisitor save the world and build the next empire.
Well, long as I get paid, I'm happy. That's why I signed up.
I just couldn't spend my whole life on a farm. Needed to live a little, you know.
What about you, Mira? Why'd you join up? I thought you were serving some noble.
I saw what happened at Haven. The Inquisitor staring down that monster and his archdemon. I don't sing the chant of light as much as I should. But you can't see something like that and not believe.
Well, Grim and I should find our tents. Thanks for the drink. I know every soldier under my command. You don't have that option, but a few faces might help.
Very Shakespearean, by the way. Points if you get it.
It was good to get their perspective.
Yeah. Sounds like we could use an easy win for boys like Tanner. And vets like Mira have seen enough to be wary. You've got a good army coming along. Remember that, no matter what comes next.
Even if it's the Kinari conquering the continent. As is their wont. See, I guess we've got another Tor effect thing going on, Blade Runner, because I saw Why'd You Talk Like That? My first thought was, ugh, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you talking like that? Like, I thought it was an insult, so I didn't pick it.
What's going on?
Apparently nothing.
See you later, Bull.
Nice talking with you, boss.
Well, there's Cassandra right there. Ah, well.
Scout Harding.
Your worship.
Have sex with me.
Shouldn't you be out there scouting?
In a bit. We're in Skyhold for supplies and a change of personnel. Not me, though. Indispensable.
So who's Scout Harding, really?
Me? Oh, I'm no one. Lived near Redcliffe all my life. Herded sheep for my neighbor. When the Inquisition came through my village, I helped by telling them everything I knew about the area. Then I signed on. Wanted to see the world before it was swallowed up by that thing out there.
Henry V, by the way. Whoever was asking about the Shakespeare thing.
Take care.
That is, in fact, Ali Hillis. Yes, Adams Yuta. Okay, fine. Let's go talk with Sandra.
Good book?
Ah! I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, are you blushing?
What would I have to blush about?
You tell me.
It's of no interest to you, I'm certain. It's a book.
I can see that.
It's one of Varric's tales. Swords and Shields, the latest chapter.
So you like to read. What's wrong with that?
It's frivolous. There are more important things for me to do.
Why don't I believe you?
It's literature. Smutty literature. Whatever you do, don't tell Varric.
Maybe I should read that book.
You? No!
Why not me?
You're the Inquisitor.
Oh, I see.
They're terrible. And magnificent. And this one ends in a cliffhanger. I know Varric is working on the next. He must be. You could ask him to finish it. Command him to... Pretend you don't know this about me.
Okay. Go talk to Varric. Varric, I need you to finish your next book now.
Have you met this friend of Varric's, Inquisitor?
Not yet, no.
It had better not be who I think it is. I will wring that little bastard's neck.
Oh yeah, fun thing. An entire episode of My Little Pony was about this whole concept here.
So, that book you were reading.
Yes, what of it?
So under that taciturn shell beats a true romantic heart.
Why must it be an accusation? Romance is not the sole province of dithering ladies in frilly dresses. It is passion. It is being swept away by the pursuit of an ideal. What is not to like about that?
Don't get me wrong. I like this side of you.
I don't swoon.
I meant the passion.
Oh. Well, that's not so bad then.
Let's see. Why can't I? Oh my god, I need music. I'm sorry, this is killing me. That's okay, I have a castle playlist. Yeah, we actually cannot fast travel yet. I was doing a quick test. That's a good question, Svatoslav. If you can think of one, we'll find out.
Here at last. Praise the Maker, this fortress keeps us safe.
The order was sent?
Yes, Commander.
Send men to scout the area. We need to know what's out there.
Yes, sir.
Commander, soldiers have been assigned temporary quarters.
Very good. I'll need an update on the armory as well. Now! We set up as best we could at Haven, but could never prepare for an archdemon, or whatever it was. With some warning, we might have...
We were all shaken by what happened.
If Corypheus strikes again, we may not be able to withdraw. And I wouldn't want to. We must be ready. Work on Skyhold is underway. Guard rotations established. We should have everything on course within the week. We will not run from here, Inquisitor.
I mean, there's nowhere else to run to.
How many were lost?
Most of our people made it to Skyhold. It could have been worse. Morale was low, but it's improved greatly since you accepted the role of Inquisitor.
Inquisitor Trevelyan. That sounds odd, don't you think?
Not at all.
Is that the official response?
I suppose it is. But it's the truth. We needed a leader. You have proven yourself.
You responded quickly to the attack on Haven. Without that, so many more would have died. I'm grateful for any help you can give.
Thank you, Inquisitor. I will do everything I can to ensure the security of our people. You have my word.
Also, I hate to break this to you, but I actually do have a romance playlist. And here it is. Let me just get into my most romantic pose here. Sorry. Actually, FS7R1, but still.
This thing is not a stray puppy you can make into a pet. It has no business being here.
Wouldn't you say the same of an apostate?
Inquisitor, I wondered if Cole was perhaps a mage,
I suppose
given
I should
his unusual abilities.
He can cause people to forget him, or even fail entirely to notice him. These are not the abilities of a mage. It seems that Cole is a spirit.
It is a demon.
If you prefer, although the truth is somewhat more complex.
Cole helped me escape the Envy Demon. I already agreed to let him stay.
That was before we knew what it was. Honoring deals with demons is a swift path to an early grave.
In fact, his nature is not so easily defined.
Speak plainly, Solas. What are we dealing with?
Demons normally enter this world by possessing something. In their true form, they look bizarre, monstrous.
But Cole looks like a young man. Could it be possession?
No. He has possessed nothing and no one. And yet he appears human in all respects. Cole is unique, Inquisitor. More than that, he wishes to help. I suggest you allow him to do so.
Well, the music is inclining me towards your argument.
In my studies, demons either possessed something from this world, or were summoned and bound. They almost never look like something you'd mistake for a person.
Normally you'd be correct. But Cole has willfully manifested in human form without possessing anyone.
I should hear what Cole has to say for himself. Where is he now?
He was right.
Haven. So many soldiers fought to protect the pilgrims so they could escape. Choking fear. Can't think from the medicine, but the cuts rack me with every heartbeat. Hot, white pain. Everything burns. I can't. I'm going to... I'm dying. I'm... dead.
You're feeling their pain.
It's louder this close, with so many of them.
Would you like to go somewhere more comfortable?
Yes, but here is where I can help. Every breath slower, like lying in a warm bath, sliding away. Smell of my daughter's hair when I kiss her goodnight. Gone. Cracked brown pain, dry, scraping, thirsty. Here.
Thank you.
It's all right. She won't remember me.
Solus tried to explain what you are, but honestly, I stopped listening after a while. Any chance you could explain it?
Yes? I used to think I was a ghost. I didn't know. I made mistakes, but I made friends too. Then a Templar proved I wasn't real. I lost my friends. I lost everything. I learned how to be more like what I am. It made me different, but stronger. I can feel more. I can help.
If you're willing, the Inquisition could use your help.
Yes, helping. I help the hurt, the helpless. There's someone. Hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Someone make it stop hurting. Make her, please. The healers have done all they can. It will take him hours to die. Every moment will be agony. He wants mercy. Help.
Well, that's extraordinarily horrific. I mean, I know what I would want to be done there, but... That's me. Euthanasia. I'd do it to myself. I'd be like, give me the knife. Give me the knife. Oh. Oh, the last. Then I'd get up, stretch, do some morning exercises. Oh, there we go. Double check the phylactery. Yep. Okay, we're cool. You gotta get our daily mandated suicide in there. Well, I appreciate that Warcraft code.
You say he won't die for hours yet, but you can't know that for certain.
His body is failing.
He could recover, or the healers could find another way to help him.
How do you know?
I don't.
I don't. And neither do you. That's part of life.
Try. I want to stay.
So anyways, with that little ray of sunshine, I think there's only one song that can really appropriately follow through on something like that. Damn it. Where's Dorian? Where's Dorian? No, Crazy Norse. Just want you to know I'm blaming you for this, Evo. There he is. Jesus. I did see your question, Eternus. The problem is, explaining my management style to you would involve sitting here for 3 hours chatting about it, because it is my opinion that there is no such thing. Let me put this differently. A good manager doesn't have a management style, in my opinion. A good manager knows how to manage based on circumstance, based on situation, based on scale, based on scope, based on time, based on the people you're working with, based on the people you're working for. That's my management style.
Brilliant, isn't it? One moment you're trying to restore order in a world gone mad. That should be enough for anyone to handle, yes? Then, out of nowhere, an archdemon appears and kicks you in the head. What? You thought this would be easy? No, I was just hoping you wouldn't crush our village like an anthill. Sorry about that. Archdemons like to crush, you know. Can't be helped. I suppose a proper introduction is called for, now that we're not running for our lives. Dorian of House Parvus, most recently of the Tevinter Imperium. I was at Redcliffe when the Venatori assumed command of your southern mages. I only wish I could have given more warning.
What you did for us at Haven.
That was apparently a flirt option.
It was, wasn't it? Throwing in my lot with the underdogs, that's me. I always assumed the Elder One behind the Venatori was a Magister. But this is something else completely. In Tevinter, they say the Chantry's tales of Magisters starting the Blight are just that. Tales. But here we are. One of those very Magisters, a dark spawn.
Who does the Imperium say started the Blight?
You know how it is. Not us. They say dark spawn were always there. Magisters and the Blight aren't even related. Is that a surprise? No one wants to admit they shit the bed. But if Corypheus is one of the Magisters who entered the Black City and he's Darkspawn, what other explanation is there?
Why does that make you angry?
Because the Imperium is my home. I knew what I was taught couldn't be the whole truth, but I assumed there had to be a kernel of it, somewhere. But no, it was us all along. We destroyed the world.
You didn't do anything. Those men did, 1,000 years ago.
True, except that one of them is up and walking around right now. Not to mention I have idiot countrymen who would happily follow him down that path again. I have no intention of letting Corypheus win. Not without someone from Tevinter standing against him. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to stay and help the Inquisition.
You'd really fight your own countrymen?
Southerners like to think of the Imperium as nothing but slavers and cultists. Why not? That's all you see.
I mean...
It's not true. Some Tevinters are not only handsome and well-dressed, but rather put off by all that rot. So, I'll happily kill cultists or anyone who thinks a Darkspawn god is the way of the future.
What if this is a ruse? The Venatori could have captured you, sent you here.
Rather elaborate, considering they'd need to have assumed you'd escape Haven. But I am the ideal spy. Charming, clever, perfect teeth and hair. It all fits. How about this? Let me help, and you can hang me later, if you wish. I look good in rope.
I do like hanging people. That's a tough one. He's tempting me with what he knows I love most. Flagrant murder. Fine.
We can use all the help we can get.
No one will thank me, whatever happens. No one will thank you, either. You know that, yes?
Yep.
That's not why I'm doing this.
I knew there was something clever about you. All I know is this. Corypheus needs to be stopped. Men like him ruined my homeland. I won't stand by and let him ruin the world.
Wait, so you're part of the Hasbrains? I thought they were a dying species.
Oh, and congratulations on that whole leading the Inquisition thing, by the way.
Thanks. He is Shadow Machine. He knows. I'll just be like, yeah. Come on.
Roderick, that Chantry fellow who led us through the mountain from Haven. You know he died, I assume. Got us as far as the camp, and then... that was it.
I hated his dumb, stupid, ugly, terrible face.
Oh, that's too bad.
I helped him walk. He... talked about you quite a bit. He just needed to be sure you were Andraste's chosen. He was terrified of what it meant, if it were true. But in the end, he believed. He asked me to tell you he was sorry.
Thank you for telling me about that.
I thought it was important. Anyway, we can talk about something else if you'd rather.
Yes, let's talk about Mega Man, shall we?
It occurs to me that I barely know anything about you.
Beyond my being a mage from Tevinter, you mean?
Beyond that, yes.
And beyond my being so charming and well-dressed, which is obvious to anyone.
Some more than others.
Some people have superior taste. Now, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Parvis, a product of generations of careful breeding and the repository of its hopes and dreams. Naturally, I despised it all. The lies, the scheming, the illusions of supremacy. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it? Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
Aww.
Why would your family be upset with your choices?
Because I rejected their idyllic plan. If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl from a powerful family. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place in the magisterium. I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see?
Right.
What did you mean by generations of careful breeding?
The great families of Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and promote the rest. My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Never mind that they loathed each other. They wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the envy of the Imperium. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
I'm getting the impression you don't care much for your homeland.
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. There's so much potential. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because pretending is easier. We pretend the Qunari can be beaten. We pretend that we're superior to everyone, even our own people. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
As I say, we've got euthanasia, suicide, eugenics, slavery, unhappy marriages. At some point, pretty soon, we'll probably talk about being rejected because you're homosexual. So, we're just kind of hitting every beat today, apparently.
It just seems so much of what you say about the Imperium is entirely negative.
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have many virtues. We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas...
God, he really is Garrick.
We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the modern ages. And despite appearances, we care. Deeply. About everything. We have no reserve, not in war and not in love. If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
Yep, that's right. We can make Cardassia great again. You don't understand. We can do it. We can make it happen.
Why remain with the Inquisition? Why not go back to Tevinter?
I'm not exactly welcome back home. Not that it matters. I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. It adds to my charm. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my homeland back 1,000 years. I'm sure some Magisters would disagree. But that's why we kill them.
That is a good reason to kill people, for disagreeing with me. Wait, let me walk that sentence back a second. Just give me a second, because Bubbleman's giving me some issue. Damn it, Bubbleman! Stop doing this, I'm trying to talk to Dorian. You don't understand, Bubbleman? No! Why aren't you dead yet? He's like, no, I'm going to do the annoying attack pattern. Just so you can't talk to Dorian. Okay, there we go.
I think I've heard enough.
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
Thank you, Mr. Red. Gotta kill all the people who disagree. The only way. The only way. Oh, I'm doing a Buster only, Blue Fusion. So, my usual way to play Mega Man. You didn't put that towards ending, Mr. Red. Time to kill Mr. Red for disagreeing with me. The only way. It's all we can do. We're just gonna wait here until Mr. Red tells me what he's gonna put that towards. Everybody knows, the whole bus is waiting for Mr. Red. We're just on. I put on the parking brake. We're just chilling here, waiting. Yep, hit the stream brakes. We got an emote for it and everything. This is all on you. Everybody knows it's your fault, Mr. Red. It's all the pressure. All the... Okay, I want to actually do that.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite fascinated by it. Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true, but the cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
I'm surprised that people don't use Pumpernickel more often, but it has to do with the YouTube side of things, Dakota.
It seems strange that an entire empire would be ruled by mages.
Strange? Why are you less qualified to rule than some tart with a fancy crown? Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is that mages don't rule. The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the Magisterium, exactly?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part worth having a seat on. Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All mages now. It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
Yeah. Look, there's this guy named Fenris, okay? You ever heard of him? He's my go-to here. He knows things. He knows all the things.
If you're not a Magister, then what are you called? No special title?
I'm an Altus, which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you ask.
God damn it. Okay.
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of the old gods. If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later. Lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soperati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happens. Even so, he gets to appoint new Magisters, which means all the families vie madly for his favor. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
Yep, gotta get in that party space. Obs.
If it's a fiction, that means mages do rule, then.
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you're even a slave. The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically, the potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen. More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origins. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
I mean, that sounds like a worthwhile position to me.
Being a quaestor isn't a good thing?
I imagine the average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
But let me ask you something else.
Of course.
I will put that towards Shadows Over Loathing, Sly Collection, and Ratchet and Clank, Mr. Red. Thank you.
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own divine?
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face, like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to yours.
That's probably why they call it the Black One.
Is the Imperial Chantry so different from ours?
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them, for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles of magi in the Imperium?
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers.
They don't use lyrium?
Ha! As if there'd be any left for them. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce the Magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true Divine. The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender. It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste was a mortal woman, a mage. Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah blah blah. We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see. So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
God, I suddenly can't think of the name of it. Not the conference at Vienna. That's a lot later. There was a big famous event in real life history where a lot of factions of religious groups got together and were like, "Hey, I tried to hammer things out." Nicaea. That's it. I was rather suddenly reminded of that for some reason.
So the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Gotta love artifact design.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply do not believe in the Chantry. It is a relic, whether back home or here in the South. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the Inquisition represents. I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
Aww.
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You are what we needed most at the moment we needed it. That's what they will say in ages to come.
Yeah, it's called being a PC. I know this is your first time, Dorian, but you'll get used to it. It's pretty normal. Reminds me of that stupid meme where the guy's being hanged and he turns to the other guy. First time?
You don't seem like the religious sort, to be honest.
If you define religious as sitting in a chantry and listening to a blithering hen tell you how to live, then no. If you define it as believing in the possibility that something larger than yourself exists, then yes, by all means. The world is bigger than I, even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe, but I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
That's shockingly honest, actually. That's probably one of the more honest takes I've ever heard on that.
Let me ask you something else.
So many questions.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to be here in a minute.
I'm wondering if the Imperium...
I've already beaten Mega Man 2. Moved on to 1.
Be more concerned whether or not they'd support the Venatori. They won't, of course. At least, not officially. They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. Secretly, many Magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy for far too long." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen. I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
Just how often is blood magic used there?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
That's what any Magister would tell you. They'd be convincingly offended by the notion, too. Of course, what people call blood magic here, and what we consider blood magic, are two different things.
What's considered actual blood magic in Tevinter?
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. Using your own blood or that of a willing participant, what's the harm? The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much power. And what if you need more? You always need more. That's where we get into sacrifices and demon summoning. None of that is done. Not officially. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. Real blood magic can give you an edge, a leg up against your opponents. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power, to put it bluntly.
You'd think the Templars would object.
I imagine they did, long ago. Once, their investigations might have been sincere. Then their balls were cut off. Too inconvenient. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. Most of them probably innocent.
There must be some mages who oppose this.
Of course. I do. And I'm not entirely alone. Occasionally, there'll be a Magister who makes noise. And then the reform talk begins. All very patriotic. Meanwhile, that Magister will be quietly shunned. Chances are, surprise, it's learned he was a Maleficar all along.
Oh my god.
To keep quiet. Me? I enjoy the allure of pariahhood.
It is very enjoyable, I can't deny. Especially when they start popping their monocles at you. That's when you know you've made it.
Anyone who talks about the Imperium mentions slavery. It's the center of the slave trade.
Ah. That is true.
And did you have slaves?
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well. Honestly, I never thought much about it until I came south. Back home, it's how it is. Slaves are everywhere. You don't question it. I'm not even certain many slaves do.
You think slaves like it that way? Don't be ridiculous.
I didn't say they like it. It's all most of them know. In the south, you have alienages, slums, both human and elven. The desperate have no way out. Back home, a poor man can sell himself. As a slave, he could have a position of respect, comfort, and could even support a family. Some slaves are treated poorly, it's true. But do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
An interesting question, which I will also not be addressing on this channel. Ever.
Is that what you call it? Treated poorly?
Abuse heaped upon those without power isn't limited to Tevinter, my friend. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. I never thought about it until I saw how different it was here. But I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe that every tale of Tevinter excess is the norm.
Yeah, Fenris. Just because you're, being held by a horrifically evil slave, and so was that other slaver, and that other slaver, and that other slaver, and that other slaver. But no. Those are the exceptions, not the rule. It's cool. It's cool. Slavery's cool, everyone. Yeah!
That's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
I'm curious why you were in Redcliffe in the first place.
Looking up an old mentor of mine. A magister by the name of Alexius. Good fellow. Always thought highly of him. Then one day, he asks me to join the Venatori. I don't know what he was thinking. He knew I wanted to change Tevinter, not regress it into prehistoric madness. The Venatori killed Alexius once he stopped being useful.
Seems odd he would get involved with the Venatori at all.
That's what I thought. I'd hoped to persuade him to leave Redcliffe. I suppose he had his reasons. People will do odd things when they're strung over a barrel. Either that, or I didn't really know Alexius at all.
I should go.
Try not to kill anyone without me. It occurs to me that you're a mage.
That just occurred to you?
I meant, you must have been part of the Circle of Magi in the south. Meaning, you were locked away like a criminal, at least until you rebelled. It's such a bizarre notion to me.
Why do you think we rebelled?
A lack of civilized entertainment, clearly. I've been to your southern taverns. It's more surprising that everyone would take the idea of a mage inquisitor so calmly. Maybe it's not calm. Maybe the Antivan crows are swimming in gold from all the contracts on your life. Good luck with that, by the way. Grand fun being the one in charge.
Oh yeah, there's nothing I like more than being the one with the giant target on my frickin' face.
I should go.
Try not to kill anyone without me. Questions, questions.
Yeah, that's it.
I should go.
Try not to kill anyone without me.
To answer you, Mr. Red, I would say that I don't know what CEX is directly, or to be more specific, I don't know its reputation or its return policies or anything like that, but let me put it to you this way. If I had the choice between buying a used tablet on eBay or buying a new tablet on Amazon, I would take the new tablet on Amazon. Apparently CEX is not something like eBay, so that's good. But you see, my point doesn't change. Whether or not you take the used option depends on how much trust you have in the store in question, and, more importantly, their return policies. Where am I going? Someplace I can't reach. So the door wasn't opening. Is this door opening? This door is opening. Yay. It's my one true love, who we cannot romance. It's impossible.
I've made some inquiries into the Imperial Court. The sooner we deal with the threats to the Empress, the better. The political situation in the Empire is dangerously unstable. It will complicate matters.
Everything in the Empire complicates matters. It's the Orlesian national pastime.
Turn your nose up at the grand game if you like, Commander, but we play for the higher stakes, and to the death.
The Court's disapproval can be as great a threat as the Venatori. We must be vigilant to avert disaster.
Don't worry, Josephine. We'll protect the Empress no matter what.
I pray you're right. If the hints from Therinfor are to be believed, we are all in terrible danger. Orlais holds Tevinter at bay. All of Thedas could be lost if the Empire falls to Corypheus. Celine is holding peace talks under the auspices of a grand masquerade.
Oh, we're already at the ball?
Every power in Orlais will be there. It's the perfect place for an assassin to hide.
Let me jump in really quick here for just a second. I was asked yesterday, and then repeated to a friend of mine yesterday, which main story quest I remembered from where we were yesterday onwards. And I came up with the ball, the outro, obviously, and I'm not counting the DLCs. So the ball, the outro. I swear I came up with a third thing. That was in the past, Lord Harriman. We're past that. That was alongside the Templar thing. I guess there's the Elven Ruins. I have very vague memories of that. That was not something I came up with yesterday. My point was, it was a really short list. And I don't... Oh, yeah. The Fade. That was the other one. That was the other one I remembered, because of reasons. And that was like the full totality of what I remembered from the MSQ of this game. And I found myself wondering, is that because there just isn't that much MSQ? Or because I'm a moron? These could be both. I mean, this isn't mutually exclusive.
A grand masquerade. I need to go shopping.
We don't have enough sway with the court to arrange an invitation. Perhaps a few more alliances.
Or soldiers.
We need a greater presence in Orlais. And soon.
I don't know. I had a YouTube comment just this morning, Warcraft Code. Hang on, let me pull it up here. Let's see. Whoops, wrong thing. Yeah, go do side quests. Side quests of the game. Let's see here. It says my opinions are wrong, and my family is wrong, and my dog, apparently, which is funny because I don't even have a dog. I've never had a dog, but man, those comments. Oof.
Inquisitor, I was just inspecting our new headquarters.
I also don't have a cat.
Foundation cracks, nesting animals, and miles from any centers of civilization. The staff must make it presentable if we're to receive any visitors of distinction.
I think you're absolutely right, Julito. If I can... Oh, fantastic, Uthor. Hey, Valerian, if you're there, I got a dog for you. So... Earlier I mentioned the idea that they should have cut the hinterlands. Let me be very clear. I mean that with total sincerity. Like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the hinterlands are so terrible. Joking aside, I think the hinterlands, and honestly most of the open world stuff, should just be completely ejected from this game. Or completely focused on. One of the two. I mean, obviously, I know this game had very, very little support, very little money, very little time, very little budget. But that's exactly why they should have done that. They should have picked a side and focused on it. Because I honestly think that this game suffers in both directions because of the lack of focus. The open world stuff isn't that great in my opinion. The side quests tend to be pretty decent, and the meat content, I absolutely agree with Jesse's Mask, is pretty strong. Most of the positives we've given are for the meat content. Most of the negatives are not. Yeah, joking aside, I talked about this yesterday. Think about how much time and effort was spent on just the hinterlands. Never mind the fact that we've already been to the Storm Coast, which is one of the other ones. We've got the swamp place we haven't even been to yet. I think there's another one as well, like the desert area or whatever. But the point is, there are multiple open world zones that, all of which must have taken absolutely forever to design and develop and craft and make the interactions and the triggers, the NPCs, the art, and everything that goes into making all that crap. And all of that time could have been spent on anything else. Now, I know. Open world was kind of in vogue when this game was being developed, which I phrased that way. Excuse me, there's 2 desert areas. My bad. Just decide. And of course, the problem here, there's apparently 3 desert areas. The problem here is what I've already said so many times. The problem is, BioWare has never been well managed. There's nothing else for that. They've gotten lucky, like a lot of developers get lucky. They had talented people who knew what they were doing and worked well together. That's cool. But a good management team, which actually can coordinate and make decisions and decide what to cut and decide what to focus on, is invaluable for these kind of projects. And we, at this point, are facing at, let's see, with Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Mass Effect 3, Tor, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Anthem. That's 6 projects in a row, all of which suffered from the exact same problem. Management. Now, yes, there are other problems there, but every single one of those other problems could have been dealt with proper management staff, like the game we're staring at right now. Even if you're pushing out a game, when you're under the gun, when you're one of those filler companies like I talked about earlier with the BioWare Magic thing, even if you're doing that, properly sitting down and thinking, all right, hold on. Let's really think about what we can do with our limited resources and limited time, and then let's do that, and then let's focus on that, and you know, it's not even just a decision at the beginning of the project. You have to have someone who's paying attention to what's taking how much time and where, which parts of the project are lagging behind, which parts of the project should be given additional resources, which parts of the project should be cut. All of that stuff is stuff that has to be managed. I hate to keep using that word, but, you know, as the project is progressing. A good management team could have turned every single one of the games I just talked about into a fantastic game. And it didn't, because they don't have that.
It certainly wouldn't do for the Inquisition to appear overly shabby.
We've only just now convinced everyone we are precisely what Thedas requires. The Templars came far to fight with us. They need to feel secure here.
I've heard that from a lot of people, Blade Travel. And I sigh because it's like, it's really hard to say the truth, which is I think the hinterland sucks and deserves 5 negatives. Excuse me, 6 negatives. but also try to say that in a way so that people don't take it personally. Because I don't mean that as an attack on anyone's opinion. It's just mine. An opinion I stand behind, by the way, having now just gone back through it. 6 negatives. Boom. 2 for the fact that it's part of the intro. 3 for the fact that the zone sucks. And 1 for that stupid escort quest. You know, I've re-examined that opinion several times, and I stand by it firmly. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with enjoying that. I've actually heard from quite a few people that they enjoy that. So I don't know. It's just... It's a little frustrating every now and again where I'm essentially being told, don't give your opinion, Laura. Don't do it. No, don't give your opinion. And I'm like, okay.
Do you not feel safe here?
I've had difficulty forgetting Corypheus' attack on Haven. Do you know who first leapt to arms? Our workers. They were so proud of our cause. Corypheus simply cut them down. So much screaming after that first blast of fire. So many people turned to ash.
We lost far too many good people to that monster.
I'm sure they'll find rest with the Maker. Well, before I return to my duties, allow me to congratulate you on your appointment as Inquisitor, my lord. I will now bring diplomatic issues to your attention, and I'm more than happy to help with any situations that arise.
Well, clearly we need to go have tons and tons of sex.
I'd be delighted if you could conjure up a marble bath within the next hour.
I'll attempt to add that to the list.
And yeah, not for the first time of games we've played in the last month, this game could have used more time in the oven. Like, it's just a theme. It's just a theme at this point. One year it was vampires. We couldn't get away from vampires in game. Now it's games that are undercooked. Let's see. So I have all the knowledges, I think, right? I do not. It's acquired knowledge. There we go. It's...
Really? You did not notice? I had no idea Lady Beverly was one of your people. You might have told me before I embarrassed myself.
Wow, that requires more power than we have. I'm a little shocked about that. Why don't these... Okay, whatever. Yes, there's a pyramid in the south, and then there's a pyramid of south. Then there's a pyramid in the south, and the pyramid of south, and a pyramid in the south. Let's go do this stuff really quick. According to the Dorian, while most of the Tevinter Magisters are not Venatori supporters, they will also not raise a finger... By the way, speaking of vampire connections, they will also not raise a finger to prevent the Venatori from wreaking havoc in the south. There are some trying to see the cult for what it is and trying to expose it. A Magister contact in Corinus by the name of Bleh is attempting to introduce a law in the Imperial Senate which would see the Venatori activity sharply curtailed in Tevinter. Dorian suggests quiet Inquisition support of Bleh would be beneficial.
Are you? I suppose not. Haven was trying. Let us begin.
Considerable as your support has been, I'm sad to report my motion died on the Senate floor, though I'm hardly surprised. My fellows in the Magisterium don't enjoy the thought of having their freedom limited in any fashion. That was, however, hardly the point of the motion. It was a statement that needed to be made, and your support allowed me to make it far louder and clearer than I would have ever on my own, so I thank you. With any luck, this will draw support from those who feel as I do. It will also draw fire from Venatori cultists still in the shadows. But let them come. I will not back down from such fools. I'm setting on a few things which I hope will aid your efforts, and we'll see what more I can drum up. Give my love to Dorian. The poor boy is such a hothouse orchid. He must be wilting in the cold. Venatori have attacked Valkion. We must help them. Lyrium, spies, or soldiers. Well, listen, this is from Warcraft code. Forces have routed the Vikyankiankiong. I've put our people to work in relief efforts until we're recalled. Thank you for letting us help keep the place. It's good to have a reason for people to trust Templars again. Based on the revelation at Haven that Venatori operatives report to a Darkspawn believed to be the Magister Corypheus, threat assessment of possible Venatori have been pre-prioritized as vital. Duke Bob rules the Navarran city of Hunterfell, a former military hero who prided himself on his open-minded attitude. Duke Bob rules with the help of a secret network of old adventuring companions and possible lovers, as they are all rumored to be beautiful women. Oh, it's me! Information on the 5 bellies of Hunterfell is limited. On the 5 bells, excuse me, is limited. They're known to include humans from both Orlais and Ferelden, an elf, a dwarf, and a Talvashoth. Known or suspected backgrounds range from respected Mortitalasi, or a dragon hunter, or a bard, or a smuggler and apostate. We believe at least one of the 5 bells is a Venatori agent. Let's send Liliana after that. I've heard only rumors up here, but it said her most intriguing aspect is her voice. Its unique quality, different from Orlesian bards who are human or elven. Still have neither race nor background. The bells are effectively nobility in the city. Any information about them is protected. We have confirmed that Talvashoth, whatever else she may be, is not a mage. Whether she is or was one of the Duke's lovers, she appears to be in a relationship with the smuggler. Keep sending Liliana. She and the elf are the 2 members of the Bells who practice magic. She has on occasion purchased exotic dragon-related ingredients from the Talvashoth, but it's unclear whether the Talvashoth gets them through hunting or through smuggling. All information about the 5 bells has come back negative. The Talvashoth is not the bard, the elf is not the Mortitalasi, and the dwarf is not the smuggler. We have learned, however, that the Ferelden is the Venatori agent, but unless we can link her to a specific background quickly, we will lose this lead. We must remove the target immediately. So, yeah, send Liliana again. The target was eliminated as expected. All other targets went into hiding. Duke did not locate our operative during his search. Information the Duke found on the corpse revealed the smuggler's Venatori involvement. Duke has cut off ties with the Venture Imperium and is thoroughly investigating his city. Hunterfell is no longer subject to Venatori influence. For his request, Operative Iron Bull will receive further intelligence reports to continue his efforts, and supplies from Seheron have also been dispatched. Listen, Mortal Warcraft Code. All I'm saying... No, I'm not going to make that joke. Inquisition agents have uncovered a potential problem in the nation of Navarra. A Tevinter mage by the name of Bob II has recently been noted in the company of Bob I. Rumors comment on how strange it is for the new advisor to be so closely heeded. There is evidence to indicate that Bob I is a member of the Venatori. Having the Navarran king under their sway would give a great deal of power and hinder the Inquisition's ability to operate in the north. Let's... about 20 minutes, playable.
At your service.
I'll admit your ambassador first approached me with the claims regarding Bob II. I was unconvinced. Indeed, I did not heed the evidence even when it was presented. It was only when one of your mages, an apostate named Sidani, managed to drive the clouds from my mind, I finally realized the spell I had been under. Bob II has been imprisoned, and we will be on the lookout for any further efforts by these cultists to infiltrate my nation. Navarra is most grateful. Sincerely, Bob I. Listen, we all know that all Italians are just driving on mopeds being like, hey, ciao. You just be quiet over there. Hey, Chiquita, ciao. Oh my god, okay. You may recall we offered your distant relatives in the Free March as a promise of aid. One branch of your family has asked you to mediate their dispute with another, and the description of events is rather convoluted. Apparently it began with an insult during the harvest ball in Ostrich over the quality of the milch cows, escalated into a pitched battle between 200 soldiers last week. Really, it would do good of us to step in, if only to preserve the name of the Phalans as a whole. Let's do this. Dear cousin, I did not expect you to come to our rescue, as we haven't seen each other since we were babes, but you have, and I am grateful. I'm not a woman who speaks the way his diplomats do. If yours hadn't stepped in, this useless bickering would have become worse. The Inquisition has saved the family, pride, and more. I've sent good laborers to help your cause. If you return to Ostwick, come dine with us. My table's always open to you. Man, I can't wait to have sex with my cousin. That's just going to be fantastic. I like how gather coin is like so far off the map, I almost can't see it. The allied merchants of the monarchy of Antiva have inquired whether they can assist in any fashion. They could provide us with some of the finest goods in Thedas, a powerful boost to our prestige. They could even mute this song, because I'm sick of hearing it. We're going to be here for a few more minutes. Here, I've got a mission playlist, because of course I do. Let's put it on random. Yeah, it's a bit much. Am I on the right playlist? Just getting some random music here. A lot of Mega Man. Fine. We'll do bombing mission. The merchant princes will attempt to ensnare us in conflicts so convoluted we'll be eternally tied to them. We must send our most skilled negotiators. Yeah, Josephine, this is you. A bundle of documents 50 pages thick explains the trade agreement the Inquisition has entered in with the merchant princes of Antiva. I can't do Star Wars music. Star Wars music is extraordinarily copy-wrong. Like, to the point of silliness. I am more than satisfied with the agreement we reached with the merchant princess. Here's a duplicate if you wish to review it. I would put aside 3 days and 24 candles. She doesn't know how fast I can read. Hell, I'm even good at that kind of thing. Cerberus. I don't know who else to turn to, my friend. Horrors are stalking Ansburg. Demons turn houses to ash. Shadows tear our guardsmen apart. The Countess has shut herself in the castle, and there are few alive left to fight beside the guard. Barris, I beg you with all my heart, we need people who fight magic. Ansburg needs the Templars. As I say, 50 pages is pretty short if we're being totally honest with ourselves. Let's go with Cullen. It's only a week since you left, yet Ansburg slowly returns to its routines. I'll never forget how the demons ran through the streets, just as we'll always remember the men and women who reclaimed them. There's talk of erecting a statue in honor of our Templar defenses. I can already hear you calling it excessive nonsense, but it's little enough for saving the city. Allow us our heroes. And don't let that wound in your leg scar. Come visit us when duty permits. New recruits should hear your war stories. Skyhold has incredible potential for rune crafting and mastercraft smithing. If only we had a gifted mind to claim full benefit. The War and the Venatori have claimed many experts. We've located an arcanist with great skill and reputation for humbling first enchanters, both Androstian and Imperial. 2 assassination attempts and at least 1 explosion have made landholders reluctant to allow her passage to their territory. It takes significant effort to bring her from Tantervale, but this arcanist would be invaluable to the Inquisition. We'll go with Liliana for that. Arcanist has been secured. Woo! Ruffles. First off, you want to play a mean hand at Wicked Grace. Second, the lead you dug up for me on finding this Bellenforth guy in Kirkwall is starting to show some promise. I got my editor to look around for me. She's a coterie boss, so people tell her things whether they want to or not. I'm starting to think this is just the wrong playlist for this. Hang on. Let's do this playlist instead. Hang on a sec. That should do. The courier's a magistrate, Lord Werning Cammering. The coterie won't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Maybe you can have a polite word for me. Let's go ahead and send Liliana this one, too. Cammering is dead, fully armored, locked in an inner room in his home with a knife in his back. He knew someone was coming for him. Ironically, the scene is exactly the same as the one from the Hard and Hightown novel. Someone sent a professional after this magistrate. They had to leave a trail. Jevlin was waiting outside the captain's office when Brenovik slunk out defeated. We're not getting a warrant, are we? Jevlin looked almost relieved. No. Donnan met his partner's eyes. The kid was barely 20 and looked like he'd walked straight into Kirkwall's barracks from somebody's potato farm. Taller and broader than other guards, Jevlin slouched as if he didn't know how to fit into his own limbs. As if he thought he should be smaller. Hunched over his brand new, too large armor, he looked like a child playing at being guard. He was too green for murder. Maybe it's for the best, Jevlin said, almost speaking Donovan's thoughts aloud. You're on the way out of the guard, and I'm... questioning nobles in the middle of the night wasn't covered in training. Donnan glared at the kid. Guard, and so are you, recruit. Nobody gets away with murder when we're on duty. Jevlin stood a little straighter. What do we do then? Captain wants proof. We bring her proof. The dead magistrate attempted to implicate Varric, and what and why? Yeah, we're going to send Liliana after this again. You encroach on the domain of higher powers. You will answer for us. I'm the Crippler. Meanwhile, there are reports of darkspawn activity on the Storm Coast. While the area is sparsely populated, the darkspawn pose a significant threat to travelers, as well as Inquisition soldiers stationed on the coast. Should the darkspawn branch away from the region, villagers may be inclined at risk. Send troops. We conducted sweeps and determined where the darkspawn was concentrated. There's now a quest there. Please allow me to convey the deepest sympathies over the losses at Haven. It was surely Andraste's will that anyone made it out of that calamity alive. In light of this tragedy, I would pledge material in support of the Inquisition, but unfortunately, my own lands have suffered heavy damages thanks to the damage between the mages and the Templars. Could you come help us out, please? I need you to come help me with... I can, however, tell you there was a very profitable mine on the western border of the Redcliffe Arling where the Templars cut off. I do not know the present condition of the mine, but if you wish to reclaim it, I will gladly let you take it from whatever you can between now and Winter's End. Altegan. Yeah, by the way, Heart and Hightown is a real book written by Gator, I'm pretty sure, that you can buy in real life. It has some other bonus stuff in there, too. This is the appropriate music for Hard and Hightown. We've all heard the rumors, blood mages in the Winding Wood. The Inquisition controls the Templars. Surely it's your responsibility to act. Cullen. I've received several complaints from various merchants. No one's been able to verify these claims one way or the other. Major trade route between Denerim and the now thriving Amaranthine runs through this region. The Arl of Amaranthine would consider it a personal favor if our Templars investigated. We'll send in Liliana for that. We found several murdered mages just off the road. The bodies have been dragged from the place they were killed, but not well hidden. It's possible someone wanted them discovered. A message, but for whom? Victims were stabbed. Unclear whether it was the work of blood mages or local merchants who decided to deal with the rumors themselves. We'll have the Templars sweep the area as a precautionary measure. Your concerns regarding the lack of conclusive evidence found in the Winding Wood incident were well placed. Rumors of blood magic drew out the Templars, as intended, it seems. Some mages say our men were responsible for the murders. More Templar zealots persecuting the innocent, and what's worse, another murder was reported shortly after your people left. Lady Dahlia claims the victim was her daughter, not a mage at all, though it's rumored she sympathized with their plight. Witnesses say a Templar vigil was found nearby. After the events in Kirkwall, and the fighting in the hinterlands, people fear extremists on both sides. If word spreads that we've lost control, well, we may lose support from the nobility in Amaranthine, or worse, Denerim. Yeah, let's send Liliana off to this. We've discovered the source of the accusations leveled at our Templars. A group of rebel mages with extremist leanings operating in the area. The group fears our association with the Templars will will permanently crush what remains of their rebellion. They've been actively working to stir up anti-Templar and anti-Inquisition sentiment. Fortunately, we have enough evidence to clear the Templars' names. A dangerous cell of rebel mages has been tracked to a remote location of the Winding Wood. They are the known enemies of the Inquisition and its allies. These men and women pose significant danger to those traveling the Pilgrim's Path. They're just directly responsible for the death of 7 mages and a noblewoman's daughter. Let's kill their faces off. On the commander's order, we approached the rebel camp and offered amnesty to those who surrendered. Few accepted. One was nearly killed by her fellows when she tried to join us. This group bears no love for those who question their right to power. Of course, they called us every color name for murderers they could imagine before attempting to kill us. We ended the fight as swiftly as possible. Those who surrendered were young, clearly in over their heads, and grateful for a way out. They have returned with us to Skyhold. We will monitor them closely. After Theron fall, it's good to know we still serve those who need us. Wendingwood is now safe. Boop. That sounds like a nightmare job. Meanwhile, feels like we should have met, seeing as how you were camped in the western part of my country until someone wiped Haven off the map. My map. That was annoying. King Alistair? But... Yeah, I did. I can even double check that. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's also too late to change it at this point. But I'm gonna even double check my keep right now. Huh. Okay. Whatever. Enora rules alone. That's why Alistair is listing. This. I don't even care at this point. Whatever. First I have one of Army and Ferelden without a by your leave, and then there are 2, but I digress. My point is I'm King Alistair, ruler of Ferelden, who shouldn't even be here. I've learned who was behind that second army. His cult of Tevinter followers is supposedly in the royal palace, somewhere, cackling, no doubt. Seeing as your Inquisition knows far more about them, I'm hopeful you could find these cultists and ask them to leave. With pointy swords. I don't even want to know what they're up to. 1 archdemon per age is really all Ferelden can stomach. Thank you very much. Sure. We'll send Liliana. I was bracing. Pitched battle with evil mages disguised as kitchen servants. Fireballs flying and swords flashing. Brings back the old times. I won't be eating out of those kitchens for a while, let me tell you. What if they're going to poison me? Nasty little cultists. Anyway, I'm grateful for the Inquisition's help. We wouldn't have found them without you. You're welcome. The Venatori mage captured by the Bull's chargers at Redcliffe has given us valuable information on how the Venatori were able to co-opt the rebel mages. Specifically, he speaks of an agent amongst Ferelden nobility who prepared the mages at Redcliffe for the Venatori. Arl Gallagher brought out a big ol' watermelon. Evidently allied with the Venatori with good intentions, he believed the rebel mages would withdraw to Tevinter, where they would lead a better life, while their absence restored peace and stability to Ferelden. I have informed none outside the Inquisition of this matter. What we do with this information is your decision. We should try and execute him. We should make amends with him. We should use him to pass on misinformation. Yeah, look up Gallagher Watermelon, Crazy Norse. Or don't. It's also acceptable. No, that's not what I meant to do. Whatever. Oh, excuse me. We have sent along misinformation. It's not what I meant to do, but whatever. This should be just, yeah, we got resources. Yeah. Here's our Hinterland resources. Gotta get our Hinterland resources. Ah, yeah, there we go. Well, that settles it. We faced a Darkspawn Magister who commands something that looks suspiciously like an Archdemon. I defy anyone to tell me this is no blight. We have Blackwall's treaties. We have cause. They just require persuasion. No, I know it's debatable. Yeah. You gained access to a number of private libraries and archives. No information on Corypheus, but we did find a treatise. Words cannot express my gratitude for your gracious hospitality at Skyhold. After the events of Haven, one can hardly go anywhere in the Empire without hearing the words Inquisition. I shall be glad to have some facts to add to the wild rumors. Not what I was going for, but okay. I am as grieved as you to hear the vicious slander being spread. Justinia V was one of the best of us. It pains me to think that others would pollute her legacy in such a manner. I travel to Valroye soon. I shall ensure my cousins know the truth of this matter. I passed along the news of Demuro's visit to a few influential parties, and implied he was perhaps trying to butter both sides of his bread. I would describe the outrage this idea provoked, but that would make this letter indecent, and your spy mistress would abscond with it. You play as beautifully as ever, my dear. I can hardly wait to see what Demuro's next move is. Give my love to your parents. Vacompt. Hang on, let's gather coin really quick. Ah, yeah, there we go. Ambassador, although we have not always seen eye to eye, I believe on this subject we are in perfect agreement. I would like to build a monument at the site where Haven stood, a memorial to all those who gave their lives defending the faith. Done. God damn it. Really? Really? Now? Wait, yay, we've got the edgy dagger crap. A young man in the city of Jader has been accused of being an abomination. Local authorities have him under guard, as rumors of his alleged crimes have grown more sinister in the retelling. Sir Barris has volunteered to investigate. If the man is an abomination, the city is in danger. When I arrived, a crowd of citizens in Jada were pressed up against the hall of the local noble. They demanded the nobles give the man accused of being an abomination for justice. Will came out not wishing his host to suffer, and they swarmed him for his courage. I stepped in between him and the crowd, and the sight of the Templar's armor brought the people back to their senses. I persuaded them to leave the matter to us. It's a good thing I did, as Willett is no abomination, only a mage, newly come into his powers. Cool. Thanks, Sir Barris. Now that you're in charge, there's something I thought I'd bring up. There are Venatori mages out there lurking in the wilderness. This may come as no surprise to you, since you can't swing a dead cat without hitting one of Corypheus' minions, but these particular Venatori have additional significance to myself. For one, I know them personally. I wouldn't call them friends, except that would imply I didn't want them dead, which I do. Since I have an idea of where they might be, thanks to an investigation I began before coming south, I thought we'd put our heads together and track them down, at which point they would sneer something at you in Tevinter, and you would be forced to kill them, which would make everyone happy. You for eliminating a threat, me for eliminating men and women too stupid and short-sighted to be permitted to continue breathing. They would be less happy, but who cares about them? Up to you. Dorian's leads were effective. The Inquisition found several locations where the Venatori could be hiding. Advanced camps, purposes unknown. If you wish to deal with these mages, I'm certain Dorian would be pleased. I'll mark the location on your map should you pass by any of your travels. Okay, so I think that's everything except for the power cost spots. And the repeatables. And I'm wrong. There's one new one. It's right here. Both Tevinter and Navarre. Hang on, let's get some more war music here. That's not war music. Hang on, hang on. Where's... Oh, that's under Fortress, isn't it? No? Sorry, one moment, please. seem to be missing a song completely. That's unusual. No, I saw that Blade to Fall. Whatever. Both Tevinter and Navarro were fighting against Venatori entrenched along the border. The battle showed no signs of abating until the Inquisition sent soldiers who pulled victory out of a seemingly insurmountable defeat. Both sides have attempted to claim this portion of the land of the past, and both are attempting to do so again. Only the presence of our soldiers prevents them from beginning a war. We cannot allow this to happen. For the moment, each side is grateful enough to listen to our advice, and we must press them to send their armies home. I will press both sides, call all favors to do this. Through the efforts of hundreds of negotiators, allies, and a few personal connections, Navarra and Tevinter have grudgingly issued orders for their soldiers to return to their respective cities. The contested land has been split down the middle. We have averted a war today, and I will add nothing more, for there is no higher reward to ask for. Yay! We did it! We've killed everyone. Or, prevented everyone from being killed? Man, I don't even know. Look, people aren't dead, and that's the important part. Okay, we successfully accomplished nothing today. I always knew it was going to be a short shift, but goddamn. I guess we did read a lot. It's not like a complete waste or anything. I'm guessing we're still in, like, the ruined state here. Yeah, looks like we are. Yeah, let's let that finish ticking here. Go ahead, take your time, game. Take your time. Go on. Go on. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, yep, yep. Come on. Keep ticking. Keep on ticking. It's all good. It's all good. Eventually we'll get through it. We're almost there. Just stay on target. Stay on target. Continue staying on target. Come on. Come on. We can make it. We can do it. We got this. We got this. I swear, Svatoslav, I will turn this car right back around. Varric approves again. We did it. We got double Varric approval. Come on. Ah, Dorian also approves. Yes. Oh, we made it. We made it. Ah. Oh, okay. 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 I'm gonna go to my doctor's appointment. I don't know if there will be a second shift today. At the very least, I'll probably pop in and give you news. But, I don't know if what's gonna happen today. I don't know where this could go. This could be as banal as I'm just being sent home with nothing. And, you know, I just spent $400 for nothing. Or I could be going in for surgery today. All of these, anything in, those are two extremes, and anything in between is all on the table. So, I'll see you guys.